I wouldn't call this as much a scary story than a rendition of what I experienced with my night terrors as a child. Now that I've grown up, I've decided to write the fears that I felt in better detail. The moment could have only been described as crippling fear. They made it a point to hold my hand and promise me security, sing to me, warm my thoughts with soft coos, tell me that the darkness wouldn't hurt me and that it's only the inner workings of my mind. The departure into the room was met with the grip of my hand, pleading for 5 more minutes, and then 10 more, and so on, to the point where comforting me became exhausting for them. They'd beg for sleep, keep my door open, and promise me a last time that danger would never approach. I try to let sleep take me, but the distractions of the horrible night won't let my mind ease. I lay still, afraid that if I may turn around, something will be waiting for me. I want to go check on them, ask them to come back in. But I know they'll be frustrated with me. They won't believe the things I'm hearing. It stops for a minute, but I always hear it again. The rattling and the whispering. Why are my curtains moving if there's no wind? Money spent on therapeutic sessions and relaxation tapes and techniques cannot save me from the enveloping darkness waiting to consume me. I hear trickling of pots and pans. I'm not safe. The corners of my eyes are always occupied by shadows. I must overcome the fear of movement. I have to turn on the light that they shut off every night. I get up, not breathing as I move, because if I breathe, I'll be detected by the things in the dark. I turn on the light. It strains my eyes, but keeps me sustainable. How can they sleep? Are they safe? I can't protect them. Something is going to hurt all of us in this home, in that dark spot in the corner, behind my closet door, that still leaves mental scars. I go through it in my mind again. Did I remember to close every door in the house? The room across from me must be closed, or something repulsive will sneak. It will come from the room, crawling, making those strange noises I hear. Yet I can't close my door. My door must be open. If I close my door, it will lock on me, and they won't be able to reach me. I won't be able to escape what traps me inside my room when the door is closed, and what it will do to me when it is all alone with me. This is my final night, I tell myself. I may not survive tomorrow. Every cell in my body pulsating with the hot, sticky fear and sweat from under the covers that won't shelter me from harm. But I wish they could. I start to get that feeling again. I can't breathe. Am I dying? The only things I can do are lay, sweat, and forget to breathe. I need to scream. I want them back in here. I want them to save me. I scream as loud as I possibly can. Call her name, because I know he will be more frustrated with me. She runs in with her robe wrapped around her, in a hurry. Tells me to calm down. The bags under her eyes are developing more so every night now. I feel so guilty, but better. Safe only when she is with me. I ask her to lay down with me. This is the last time. I tell myself it's okay, that I'm foolish. And even when the lights go out, with the flicker of her finger, I feel safe with my guardian in the room. I'm still thinking, slowly drifting, but thinking. As I'm about to fall asleep, I hear the rustle of the bed. Is she getting up? She can't. I'm not asleep yet. I yelp as she leaves the room. Don't leave me and make me vulnerable again. I cause her misery. I'm stealing her from rest. Sleep is non-existent in this household, ever since the things in the dark made me nervous. I think they know I know about them, and that's why they're watching and whispering their plans behind walls and dark crevices. I feel myself falling into unconsciousness. Sleep decides to spare me after the many midnight hours awake and afraid. My heart, for the first time tonight, slows. I know tomorrow they will be exhausted, disappointed in me that I make them awake. They won't have energy to talk, but at least I feel safe in the day. I want to know when this horrible notion will end, and how it will end. Will I finally be taken? Will they be taken from me, forcing me to live alone? Will I find them face down in a puddle of blood, or worse? I don't want to think like this, but the sounds and their voices at night lead me to these conclusions. Please, I beg myself, to let it go away. As the dead of winter approaches, you may find yourself alone, feeling isolated and abandoned in an all-too-empty bed as the night grows ever bleaker. Ghastly shadows dancing across the wall, the crying wind battering against your window. And there's no one around to convince you that you didn't hear those gunshots. There's no one there. No one there. But do not be afraid. He waits for you. Wait for the moon to hide itself, perhaps behind a gathering of clouds. Midnight is the best time to do this. Close your eyes and hold your breath as you leave your bed. You may open your eyes once you exit your bedroom. Get dressed if you like, because you'll be leaving your house soon. Take nothing with you, except for what you can keep in your pockets. Then drive out of town. Drive as far away from civilization as you possibly can. Eventually, the air will become still. A dense fog will form just a short way down the road. You will hear nothing but silence as you approach it. Let it consume you and your vehicle. No harm will come to you from it, I promise. Do not be afraid. He waits for you. The fog will lift. You will see a dimly lit motel, stranded and alone in the night. Just like you. As you walk inside, notice that there is no one else in there. The only sign of human inhabitants will be a small key on the front desk. Take this key and wander up the corridors until you find the proper room. You will soon know exactly where it is, but you won't know why. Use your key to enter this room. Walk in and lie down on the bed. It will be no more comforting than your bed at home, with nothing but pure silence for miles. Death hangs in the air all around you, and it's so cold. You're still alone and frightened, but it's okay. He's frightened too, and he's just so cold. Cold enough to hold the pillow close to your body, burying your face in its softness and embracing it. Pretend that it's a lover all you want. You won't feel any safer, but you will feel warmer. Open your arms, lift up your head. The warmth is his arms, 2 twisted, mutilated arms tracing down your body. There he is, and he's frightened too. You can see it in his blackened, spherical eyes, fixating upon your face and twinkling with the light of another dimension. The light shines in specks from beneath his parched skin, making him glow from the inside. Bruises cover his decaying neck, as well as deep, finger-wide indents. It's as if someone had tried to strangle him. He sighs and softly caresses your face. The skin of his hands begins to flake off onto you, and you want to sweep it away. But you're stunned, completely stunned by this strange creature that is completely enamoured by you. At least you're not alone anymore. You'll then gather enough willpower to take your hands and gently lift him off you, placing him to your side. You get a better look at him. His legs are disturbingly crooked, having been broken in so many places and healed in ways that they just weren't meant to. And he won't stop staring at you. Small, glistening tears drip from his eyes. He shivers and trembles, trying to form words with his torn mouth. You can't tell exactly what he's trying to express. It doesn't matter for now. He will want to touch you, to hold and comfort you. Whatever pain you have felt from loneliness, whatever sorrow you may have felt in your entire life, he feels it. His tears fall onto you, and he lies back in submission. He will let you do anything you want to him. He knows that no matter what you do, it will never hurt him as much as what the others have done. It will never hurt as much as the isolation he's felt in this motel. As you gaze upon his twinkling eyes, you may gain a sudden urge to mutilate him, and punish him for existing the way that he does. But please be kind. He loves you after all. Spend the night with him. He'll let you do anything, and he won't be able to speak. But be sure to leave the room before sunrise. He will do everything in his power to keep you from leaving. He will grab onto you, cry, and scream at you. Tears will gush from his glowing eyes, disintegrating his skin even further. But no matter how much you pity him, leave, resist him, and leave. If you don't, you will be forever trapped and doomed to live the same existence that he does. Do not let him follow you. Just close the door behind you and lock it. You're alone again. Next thing you know, you'll wake up in your bed at home, sometime after the sun has risen. The events of last night will feel as if they were nothing but a dream. Everything in your home will be where you left it last. Your car, your clothes, everything. Then, if you are lucky, something incredible will happen. Within a few days, you might just meet a new person. This person has everything you want, and it's as if they were made for you. Within time, the two of you will fall in love. You will almost forget the girl in the motel and those glowing eyes staring at you. All that will matter is you being in love with this wonderful new person and them loving you. But once they move in with you, things will grow progressively stranger. As you lie together in bed, you might hear a faint scratching on the door and an all too familiar cry. Do not worry. Your companion will keep you from becoming too worried about it. The next night, the cry might become a shriek. The scratching will become a pounding. And only you can hear it. No matter how hard you try to convince your partner of what you hear, they will only tell you to go back to sleep. One night, you will notice that the noises have vanished. Nights will be peaceful again, and it will be just you and your partner. But from then on, you will constantly look upon your lover's eyes. You will notice a new glow in them, twinkling with the light of another dimension. Do not be afraid. He's waited so long for you.
There is a way that you can bring a loved one back after death. I wouldn't recommend it though. Death is final, and cheating it always leads to bad results. But you'll want to know anyway. Well, here you go. Go to the cemetery that your loved one is buried in. This only works for loved ones who have been buried, though. There's probably another method for cremation or something, but I don't know it. Make sure you take with you the one object that is most important to you. The emotion from this object, this sacrifice, will provide your power. Take it to the plot of your loved one and bury it over their grave. You don't have to go very far, so don't worry about running into the slab or anything. Before you cover up the hole with your object, don't forget to add a few drops of your blood to it. This imbues the ritual with your own life essence and draws them in. Then comes the final step. Take a small handful of dirt from where you buried your object and swallow it. Disgusting, but necessary. That creates a link between you and where you need to go. After that, get yourself as comfy as you can and fall asleep upon that grave. If everything was done correctly, and you were lucky, you'll awake to find yourself standing at the gate of the graveyard. It will be dim, foggy, and you'll notice a lack of colour in this drab place. You'll also see that there seems to be people wandering around the gravestones. Exactly how many and what they look like will depend on the cemetery you went to, but I've never heard of a location not having at least a few dozen wandering around. Whatever you do, stay away from them. These are the shades of those left behind from failed rituals or weak spirits drawn from surrounding areas to the power of your blood and object. If you recognize some of them, do not go near them. They're little more than instinct now, and desire one thing above all else: life. They want another chance to live, and crave nothing more. Even if a shade's mind is so far gone, it doesn't even recall why. And if one catches you, it will try to steal that life away from you. They may notice you. They may not. If they do, evade them. It shouldn't be too hard, as their reflexes and control are not nearly as sharp as they used to be. Avoid them, and look for your loved one. The person may be at their grave, or wandering the walkway. You may even find them hiding, terrified of the scene before them. When you finally see your loved one, stop. Don't go near them yet. Call out the person's name and wait. If the response seems genuine, everything is going as planned. If the response is delayed, quiet, distant, or not even present, then hold on. Ask, from a distance, what was the one thing the person hated in life? As these shades progress, their minds dwindle to nothing. One of the first things to go are the memories of the things they hated in life. Any bad memory that makes life seem terrible would slip away and be replaced by that deep desire to return to the living. If your loved one's answer seems legitimate, take their hand and pray you weren't wrong. If you were, you may find yourself as a replacement shade wandering this foggy graveyard. Be aware that their hand will be cold, freezing. It will be like grasping solid ice, but never let go. Even if your hand starts going numb and your fingers turn black, do not let go. After feeling that rush of life, touching their hand, and immediately losing it moments later, your loved one may not be able to resist the urge to take it all from you. Take your loved one back to the gate, avoiding shades if you can. Most of them may notice you now, as your living body is connected to their realm via your lost loved one. Be quick, be decisive, and do not let go of your loved one's hand. Should you make it and step through the gate of the cemetery, you'll find yourself back in the living world. However, this time, your loved one will have rejoined you at your side, still clutching your hand. To the rest of the world, it will just seem like your loved one went on a long trip somewhere and recently came back. Nobody will be able to recall where it was they went, or what they did there. Nobody except you and your loved one. But they will be happy to see the person's return. After this, I suggest you never stay in one place too long. Keep moving. Keep roaming. The more random, the better. The moment you start to see the sickly, pale look come across your loved one's face, or the bit of decay that might start forming on your skin, move. Death hates to be cheated, and if he catches up with you and your loved one, he'll make sure you both feel every bit of rotting sickness that will build up in your bodies until your loved one once again falls to the grasp of death and returns to the cemetery. This time, however, they won't be alone. You will be joining. Maybe you'll get lucky though. Maybe someone might make this journey for you. They'll take your hand and drag you back to the world of the living, only for it all to start once again.
Honestly, I don't care if you believe this or not. It is your own life you are putting at risk, not mine. But I must warn you, you might be in danger. There is a thing out there, most likely right outside your home, waiting for the right time to strike. There are hundreds, thousands of them, just lurking in the dark. This thing only attacks what doesn't see it coming. Meaning you can't know if it is there or it will run off. This is why it doesn't attack in pure daylight. You know that feeling you get in the middle of the night, like something is watching? It was easier when you were young. Kids called them by many names. The boogeyman, the monster under the bed, names like that. But as long as you know it's there, it can't harm you. It is why when you looked twice, it disappeared, like when your parents came into your room when they heard you scream. Checked the places you swore you saw something and find nothing. Your parents have long since thought that monsters don't exist, that they are just your imagination playing tricks on you. The trick is not to be scared. If you are scared, then the creatures just get bigger to match your fears. They feed on fear. It helps them grow and keeps them alive. If there is no fear, then there are no monsters. That is why I'm spreading this message. If you hear noises or see movements in the dark, don't be afraid. There is something there, but you don't need to put yourself in danger. If they are seen completely, they will strike. Just know that something can't hurt you unless you let it. After hearing this, you won't be seeing or hearing as many of them as you used to. They know you know about them and how to stop them. But also know that the ones you do hear are much braver, smarter, and much bigger than the ones you used to hear and see. They know you know about them, and they don't like it. They want you gone, and they will stop at nothing to get rid of you. At first, they will try to get you into trouble, or try to make your parents think you are hallucinating and need to be taken to the hospital. If they can't do that, then they will go for the offensive, messing with your mind, or even physical harm. For these monsters, you need to pretend not to see. As soon as they have made eye contact with you, or any kind of contact at all, they will start their hunt. You are the only one who can see your monster as what it is. Others will see it as a dog or a squirrel. Nobody can protect you but you. If you see a shadow following you, or a sound creeping up on you, don't turn around. Don't try and find out what it is. It will only put you in more danger. I'm putting this story out there so that you will know what is happening isn't something to fear, but rather be cautious about. From now on, you must be more careful of where you go and how you go there. Don't tell people what you see or hear. That alone lets the monsters know you see them, and they will act on that. Just don't do anything too rash. Wait until you have grown and completely forgotten about them. Most adults have, usually by putting other things on their minds. Try to train your mind to ignore the things you see in the dark. I wanted to put this here to protect you, but as it seems, I might have just made it worse. I don't know which. Just don't care about the bumps in the night, and hopefully, they won't care about you either.
The intruder is a silhouette, and similar in shape to a Siamese cat. When sitting, it is about 7.5 feet tall. It has two overly large, slanted eyes, which glow a bright fluorescent green, and have no pupils. It blinks these eyes occasionally. Other than the eyes, it has no discernible facial or body features. Whenever you enter your home after dark, the intruder is always watching. It sits about 10 feet away from you in plain view. It remains immobile, and does not even try to conceal its presence. While outside, it can only be seen by one person at a time. If it were within the sight range of 2 people, the first person who sees the intruder would remain being able to see it, while it would remain completely invisible to others. It emits no noise of its own. The only time it can be heard is when it is scratching its claws on a tree or your house siding. If you approach it, then it will run away very quickly and violently, kicking up dirt and rocks, The sounds of the wind from the intruder's movements and flying debris from under the intruder's feet can be heard. If you were to throw an object towards it, or discard a firearm at it, you would get the same effect. Once you turn back to the door and insert your key, you will find that the intruder has noiselessly returned to its previous position, where it continues to watch you. Some say that the intruder listens to your key hit the lock. They say that the intruder can eventually ascertain the shape of your key simply by hearing the pins of your lock moving. It is unknown how many times the intruder must hear you unlock your door before it can determine the exact shape of your key. You see, the intruder wants to kill you. That is, if this creature is even capable of wanting anything. Perhaps it is better to say that it intends to kill you. However, the intruder can only kill you inside your house and may not force its way in. Furthermore, it cannot enter an empty house. You must already be in the home in order for it to enter. If you were to run outside of your house once the intruder enters, the intruder will pursue you, drag you back inside, and then kill you. If you ever hear a key hitting your door in the dead of night, it may be the intruder, trying out its key that it has made. The intruder only tries its keys when it is close to perfecting them, so if you do not hear it trying to unlock your door, then you can be certain that it will have a proper working key within a few nights. If you enter your house through another means, for example, a garage door or a screen door, then you may suddenly find it then inoperable from the outside through both remote or attempted physical operation of the door. If you attempt to leave your door unlocked in order to prevent the intruder from hearing the shape of your key, then you may be disappointed to find that the door has been locked by the time you arrive home. If you hear a key hit your lock, it is advised that you turn off all your lights and attempt to push the door to try to prevent the intruder from entering, although it likely outweighs you. Once the intruder enters your house, all light sources above that of a candle will become blinding to all inhabitants other than the intruder. If you have time to light a candle, then it is suggested, as this will allow you to see the silhouette without becoming blinded. A very small advantage that you may have is that once it is inside your home, all inhabitants are able to see the intruder simultaneously. The intruder will kill every human inside of the house. It will only attack pets if the animal chooses to engage the intruder. Most animals choose not to engage. The only time that the intruder will make any noise of its own is during a killing strike. The intruder will make a quick hissing sound during this strike and will not make this noise again until it claims its next victim. The intruder has never been known to kill anyone without hissing at the killing blow. It will usually try to completely disable its prey to the point where it cannot move before such an action is taken. It is thought that the intruder prefers to disable its prey before a kill strike because the act of hissing may be the only time it is vulnerable to damage. This is purely speculation, however.
Have you ever felt alone? I don't mean like you have nobody to talk to, or you don't have any friends to chill with on a Saturday night. I mean alone. Truly, hauntingly alone. So alone that you could swear somebody was with you. So alone, you swear that you could hear that voice echoing in the walls. I know you hear it, don't you? Alone. You must have never truly felt alone. Things like that are perfectly normal. By the way, how are you sleeping? Do you feel safe? Are your doors locked? Don't worry, there's no reason to panic. You're alone. All by yourself. So alone, you could hear that voice echoing in the walls. So alone, you could swear that somebody was with you. So very, very alone. No time is more perfect than now, but that's okay. It can wait. Remember to sleep tight. I wouldn't want you to wake up, because you might just not be so alone after all.